Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about content batching and content sprints. They are both content creation strategies that help you create content on a consistent basis, but they are unique in their approach and in the timing of how they're executed. So if you are looking for a game plan that can help you create content on a more consistent basis and you want to determine which one is best for you, let me break it down for you. So let's start with content batching. Content batching allows you to create several pieces of content during a designated time frame, and it's usually done in one focused block or in a day. What makes content batching unique is that what you're doing is you're taking similar tasks and grouping them together and completing them during that designated time frame. Now, when you complete this, it could be done on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, but it's done on a recurring basis, and that's important to remember. So when you're doing this content batching, you are taking a specific group of tasks and completing them. So what that might look like is that in one sitting, you write all of your social media captions, and perhaps in the next sitting, you design your graphics. And then in the next sitting, you record all your videos and then you edit them. And then finally you schedule all of it. And so you see how every single session focused on completing similar related groups of tasks. And the way that you do this is you can either break this down on a day-by-day basis so that it's completed on a weekly basis. So perhaps like Monday, you focus on writing your captions. On Tuesday, you focus on recording your videos. On Wednesday, you focus on editing, and so on until you're done at the end of the week. So identifying when you want to batch is going to be unique to you. You can do this so that you break it down day by day. So you do Monday a certain time frame, Tuesday a designated time frame, or perhaps you just complete this all in one sitting on an afternoon or on a weekend. So when you complete this and how often you do this is really going to depend on your own publishing schedule. Perhaps when you're batching your content, you're just batching for the week ahead, or perhaps you're batching for 2 weeks at a time or a month at a time. So it's really going to depend on your own skills and time that you have available, but that's the essence of content batching. You're grouping similar tasks on a weekly or monthly basis, and it's happening on a recurring basis. Okay, so moving on to content sprints. Content sprints are done on a 1 to 2 week basis or longer, but they are typically focused around producing content around a specific marketing or business goal. So an example of that is perhaps you have a campaign that you're launching or a product that you're releasing or an event that you're planning. And so you want to create content around this activity, and you want to be able to have a backlog of content to complement this effort. Other examples of having a content sprint could involve maybe you're expanding your presence onto a new platform, or perhaps you're launching a podcast and you want to have a backlog of content for that. That's an example of how a content sprint can help support that. Or perhaps you identified a content gap where you're like, I need to address this content gap and I want to have a backlog of content for this. So I'm going to launch a content sprint to help me with my goal. It's typically centered, a content sprint is typically centered around something very specific, centered around your business or marketing goals. And it really helps you build that momentum and maintain that momentum over a period of time. And a content sprint is typically executed in like 1 to 2 weeks, where you just really double down during this compressed period of time and create a high volume of content. And then you're like done with that. Or it could be a little bit longer depending on the timing and frequency of your campaigns. So some of the benefits of content batching are the time-saving benefits, where you are minimizing your task switching. You're really focused on that particular grouping of activities, and it minimizes you kind of jumping around different things, and it just makes you unproductive to multitask. So content batching at its core is trying to ensure that you're grouping similar tasks together on a recurring basis to make sure that they're done effectively. And then it really just helps you maximize your content creation flow so that you just focus on, that one particular task at hand, and then you're done and you move on to the next part of your content creation flow. Some of the benefits of this is that once you have a rhythm down, you kind of know the pace and you can execute this on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. And the more practice you get, the faster you will get and the more confident you'll get. So it's just like, it really helps you over time. With content batching, you're also able to benefit from having content done a week or many weeks in advance. So those are the benefits of content batching. The benefits of content sprints are also some of the time-saving benefits where you do this in a compressed period of time, but then you reap the benefits of having a backlog of content to work from. There are also a lot of strategic benefits of content sprints. They are very centered around a specific marketing or business goal. And so it really helps you, address that particular effort that you're working on. And then the other thing is having this huge backlog of content can help you also establish a presence within your industry. It can help you be very consistent and aligned with your messaging on that particular marketing goal. Content sprints also help you be very hyper-focused during that intense time period, and then you reap the benefits later where you have all of your content done and you can just kind of benefit from having a backlog of content created. If you find it challenging to maintain a weekly publishing schedule, then you should definitely consider trying out either one of these. Let me give you some prompts that can help you evaluate and determine which one is best for you. So one question that you can ask yourself is, do you prefer to create content on a weekly basis and in a more recurring basis? This is something that is going to be unique to your own schedule. Like, are you able to maintain a schedule where you either break this down on a day-to-day basis, so like Monday through Friday, and then you're done by Saturday? Or when it comes to content batching, do you prefer to do this all in one sitting? Do you have time to allocate one afternoon or a weekday or weekend to complete your content creation workflow? So that's something to think about. Where can you fit this into your schedule? If you have only a few hours a day or in a week, perhaps content batching can help you with that. The other thing to ask yourself is, do you prefer to create content that's compressed in this 1 to 2 intense time period, but then you produce a high volume of content during that time? Is that something that you can allocate time to? And so perhaps a content sprint might be an option for you. Is if you have a certain marketing campaign coming up, a product launch, something that requires you to have a backlog of content, or you want to address a content gap or have an evergreen bank of content, perhaps a content sprint might be for you. It just depends on the season that you're in, right? Going back to content batching, if you prefer to do things all in one sitting where you spend one day a week working on a specific piece of content and then you're done for the month, perhaps that might be for you. Perhaps like an example might be you write your blog posts all in one weekend for the rest of the month. Something to consider as well is perhaps there's areas where you can do a content sprint for certain parts of your content and then content batching for another aspect of your content. An example might be perhaps on one weekend you finish all of your blog posts for the month, or perhaps on one weekend you finish all of your podcast episodes for the month, and that's something that maybe you do in one sitting. But then other aspects of your content, you maybe chunk it out on a day-to-day basis, or you try a content sprint. It all depends on you, your time, your schedule, and what kind of fits your rhythm of life at the moment. So yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed this topic, let me know what you found most helpful. If there's something like you have a question or something you want me to talk about in a future video, let me know. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, keep creating, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.